Hey everyone, today we're going to go over dropdowns. It's also called data validation, but if you just think of it as dropdowns, you're well on the way. But if you use an Excel, that's definitely the bucket that it goes under, data validation. So what is a dropdown? Quite easily, it's just like something that has multiple selections within a cell. Super useful, especially when referencing things. So I am going today to do pretty much Max's drop down list. So I'll have the VLOOKUP function from another one to search for it. But what we want here is we want this list to populate here, and I can select any of them from there. Okay. So what we do is we go to a cell, we right click, we go down to drop down, and then we can either write in all our options, but what I like to do is I like to do a drop down from a range. You have heaps of options here to make it custom, but really drop down from a range allows you to have a table where you can change the components over time and make it a little bit more dynamic. A lot of the other ones work in different situations, but this is what we're going to use quite a bit. So drop down from a range, we go to our range selector, and then all we do is we select our range. So I'm going to do a quick note here. What you can do is make the range bigger than what you currently have. So the reason we do this is that we can add to this list because it's still going to be referencing all those cells. It doesn't come up in your little drop down with 17 empty cells, but if you just highlight a little bit further down or you just remove the back number, that will reference the entire column. But I like to just go 100, so it actually makes it faster. Never mind, don't even worry about that. So now we can see we have all these in our little drop down. So if we go drop down, we've got all our exercises. Awesome. You can change the color, make it a bit easier to see. So when you go here, back squat, it's easy to see. But you don't need to do that. You can customize it. You can do whatever you want, really. All about making things pretty. But that's on the back end. One thing you can do as well is you can reject inputs or show a warning. This is pretty useful for if you want people to be able to use the drop down but still input something that they want. So let's just say you have a drop down of how people feel, and then there's not an option for I've been hit by a truck. They can just write that in. Okay. So let's just go this for now so I can show you how it works, and then we'll go back to it. So now we have an option of we can see all our lifts. Awesome. That's a real basic version. But now also, if we change this to 125, it always just references that table. So it's very dynamic. Another thing that's cool, let's just say we go bent over row and 100. Now that will be in our list as well. I didn't do this. There we go. So now we can add whatever we want and change this table and always refer to it. Continuing with the drop down thing, something you can do is you got to think about how people are going to interact with this. So this chip is the better option if they're going to click it and scroll down. Arrow is actually pretty good if they're going to write something in. So if they go bent over and you have a massive database and they can just select, arrow is sometimes better. Plain text is also pretty good for that exact same reason, but it's sometimes not obvious that this is a drop down. And that's why I usually find arrow is quite a bit better if you're going to do typing, but if it's just click and scroll, chip is by far the best option. So that's drop downs. Super powerful, very useful to make sure people select a certain thing. So when we were talking about quantitative and qualitative data before, if you use a drop down, you can sort of make qualitative data quantitative, especially if we go see if we've got at enough time, I'm just going to go as fast as I can. So now we have with this we technically have a readiness scale. So, and we have a quantifiable. So we can actually track our readiness over time via using a drop down and a VLOOKUP table. Feels like shit. -1, not bad, killing it. So now, just using a drop down and a table, we have now turned qualitative information into quantitative, and we can track now. So using drop downs to have like these sort of variables in it is like super powerful and really useful. I really find it easy to like make the inputs concise, get the exact information you want, and just also make things a bit more dynamic. Enjoy, and yeah, see you in the next video.